I didn't realize, but it's been 3 years since I did my where do I buy my K-pop stuff kind of video, and well, it is still kind of true, but it can be outdated or harder to find. I have no idea, so I got it suggested, so I'm refilming my where do I buy my K-pop stuff video. So my main store that I buy my basic Korean releases is Ketchup City. Most people complain that there are no pre-orders, but honestly I just got so used to it that even if I buy my things from a store that does pre-orders, I normally wait for the release date to buy them. Like, it's just so bad. I just got used to it that it feels like it's normal to buy them. Sometimes I do pre-order, but it doesn't bother me much because, well, I usually need to pair up albums. One of them might be released sooner, so yeah, it's just not a big deal. It just doesn't feel like a big deal anymore. So I like Ketchup City because they have good packaging, they have good communication. Although some people left me complaints, but then it turns out that they did things that they shouldn't have. So yeah, you can get yourself blocked on Ketchup City, so don't do it. So always be nice and message them first and all that, and then it works out because they always reply my messages within 12 hours pretty much, so not even on the day. So I just like using Ketchup City. I like their system of album weights. The shipping is much more accurate, so usually the albums are around the same price as other cheaper stores, but the shipping, because it's more accurately calculated, it's the whole package always ends up being cheaper on Ketchup City. So I by 20 cents, but it is cheaper. So not by much, but it is cheaper. So I like using Ketchup City. My other secret store that I never really talk about, I don't use them that much, but sometimes I have to, and they're around the same price point as Ketchup City. Unless you want to buy a lot of albums, then it's more expensive because they either do K-packet shipping or EMS. There is no in between any other option. So, and their albums come with posters almost always, and the problem with that is when it's EMS shipping, they ship it with a tube. So the album's weight is calculated with the big box and tube. So EMSing 3 albums from this store costs you more than EMSing the same 3 albums from Ketchup City because of the posters. But if you want posters with tubes, so unfolded posters, then it's a good place to go to, I guess. But I usually just end up having the folded posters in one of the shelves, and I never use them, so unless it's 슈퍼주니어, of course. So this other store is Music Korea. I don't use them that much, but sometimes it works out better, or if I need to pre-order a limited, Lovely's had a limited version not too long ago, I pre-ordered it from them. And I think I did the same with Shanghai, but also Ketchup City was not working for a month or 6 weeks or something, so I had to use this other store, Music Korea. It's fine, it works fine, but their packaging is not really good, so dent corners happen. Yeah, it's not super safe. Sometimes they arrive safely, but there's one layer of bubble wrap in a small box. It's just, but it is around as cheap as Ketchup City, and they do pre-orders, and yeah, I don't know, and they always ship on the release date. So if you really want your package to be shipped on that day, then probably they are the best, because bigger stores like K-Town4U can have a lot of orders and they might only ship it the next day. So the other store that I could use, but I don't really, I only use them for extra copies, is K-Town4U. They are still around that same price point, so probably these 3 stores are the cheapest if you want to go by that, but Ketchup City has the best packaging, although K-Town4U's packaging improved a lot recently in the past year or something, so that is a good thing. But I just like the layout, and I got used to Ketchup City and Music Korea a lot more than K-Town4U, and I just got used to not using K-Town4U, and I buy the extra copies for SuJu from them, but that's 1 album a year or something. So there is that store. And stores I could use but I don't use are Kpop Town and Kpop Mart. Maybe I would use Kpop Mart for extra copy. I just kind of gave up on Kpop Town. They take like a week to ship for no reason. They are clearly understaffed. I have no idea what's going on. Like, I feel like if you can't ship the orders out as fast as you get them, then there's a problem and you need to hire more people or get your kids to pack packages, I don't know, or go to send your kids to the post office or something to do something with them, or I don't know if it's a family business. But like, Kpop Town got really slow at shipping packages out, which is a shame because it was my first ever K-pop store, and their packaging is not that great either. So I only use Kpop Town if I can only find things there, which I usually just go for eBay then. Yeah, and for Kpop Mart, I don't know, I don't like the site much because the search box doesn't work, but I always use Kpop Mart to check the new releases, because for me that's the easiest to find all the latest pre-orders. So I just go on the K-pop tab and then it lists them by like the latest. So that's how I figure out new releases kinda. So I use Kpop Mart for that, but I sometimes buy extra copies from them, but not really, so it's not that extra. And that's basically it for basic Korean stores. And then the other option is of course eBay. eBay can be more pricey, but you can find merch there more easily, or like rare items. But like, how do you find things on eBay? Search box. The eBay search box works, so yeah, I just type in 슈퍼주니어 or just Hae, and then that's how I find my stuff. And other groups of course works too. And probably the more known sellers are Great Music City. They're very reliable, but definitely not the cheapest option, so I just like to buy my merch from them. It's just like my go-to store, and they usually have kinda everything, so I can trust them to get that LP, because they would randomly have LPs listed as well. So unlike a regular store like Ketchup City or K-Town for You wouldn't have. So Great Music City kinda has everything that is available, of course, so I like them for that. And the other good store is Kpop Market 01. They're also very reliable. It's been a while since I've used them, but every time I use them they are just like really good, well packaged items. They ship out the items fast, like it's fine. So I like Kpop Market 01. And then there are the other stores that are kind of the same thing, SuJu and Silver Cold Medal, and there might be a third one. Like, they kind of seem like the same store. They always have the same prices. They work fine. I like those stores, and they are usually cheaper than these others. But of course, if you just are on a budget, you can just set the listings by, you type in the group's name, the album name, and then set the listing by price plus shipping, lowest to highest, and then you get the cheapest option probably. Just don't buy things from China because they're usually fake. So like, I think it's really easy to figure out fake and real items. Like, just always read the description and properly the title and all that, look at the pictures. So just don't rush in and buy the first thing you see, and like always look at the multiple options with eBay. For Japanese sellers, I don't really have a go-to Japanese seller, especially on eBay. I just like don't. So for other things, if I want to combine Korean, Japanese, Taiwanese things, I go to YesAsia, and they do the same with like more expensive Japanese DVDs. I might go to YesAsia and then just buy them because they are usually safer, and they take over a month to get here, but they usually don't get customs, and if you have a problem they usually reship your item if it's available. So if it takes 2 months and it still didn't arrive and it won't arrive, then they just reship it for you. So that's a good thing about YesAsia. But again, their packaging is not perfect and the item takes really long. It's just for special cases, like you normally don't get Taiwanese stuff, but you might need a Taiwanese thing, but you don't want to buy only one album, so you buy it with some other album. And YesAsia is a good store for that because it mixes like the Asian countries and they have all the releases, so you can just put a Japanese single there and it's all fine. So that's what YesAsia is for me. And then for proxy sites, I still I'm attached to Buy because I like the layout and how the bidding works, but Buy's fees are probably the highest. amongst all of them currently. They just became the most popular option, so their fees are higher. But what I like about them is that they get the money as the auction finishes, so you don't have to deposit it. Unlike on Zen Market, I got Zen Market recommended to me. I do want to try out, but I really don't like the fact that I have to deposit my money. So, because then, like, what if I have to buy something other Korean, or what if the auction ends up being a lower price and I have remaining money on my Zen Market account? Like, it just feels so confusing. Although back then I did use another site that worked like that. I don't know, I just don't really like that deposit thing, but one day I might just go and use it. And the other option that I think is really good is Japan. I did use them quite a lot, and their fees are, they don't have a fee on auction. They have a combining fee, like for every item, but that's 100 yen, which is still much cheaper than if you buy 2 things or even 7 things. Because Bai does 2 items 500, 3 or more items 1000 yen, so it's really not worth it for 3 items or even 2. But if you buy like 15 items from Bai, then it's worth it. But for 7 items, for example, Japan is worth it. But they don't really have other cheaper shipping options. The cheapest is EMS, which is obviously not a cheap option. So if you want your items shipped with an EMS, then I would definitely go for Japan. Although their search box doesn't really work for me, but I can find the items and then just copy the code from the link and then put it in the Japan, and then it just works fine. So I generally like Japan better than Bai, but because of the EMS shipping I might not use them. So that's my only thing with them. And then so if there is a new Japanese release, I go for CD Japan usually, but these days, because Super Junior is under AVEX tracks, AVEX is drunk, so they only let the items be shipped within Japan. At least with CD Japan, they are like very strict about it. CD Japan is very following the rules kind of store. So if you want to avoid customs, usually you don't use CD Japan. But I usually get my items shipped to tenso.com, which is warehouse basically. Tenso actually owns Bai, but they work very differently. So you get the Japanese phone number and the Japanese address with your special code. So if the package arrives to their warehouse, they know who ordered that, and then they can sort it out for you. If you don't forget to write the code in your address, which you shouldn't, obviously it's written on their site. It's kind of complicated to set up your Tenso account, but I think it's worth it. After I did it, it's like my life is much easier. So I order my CD Japan packages directly to Tenso. So, and the shipping within Japan on CD Japan is free. So basically I get the albums to Tenso and then pay for the Tenso to my country, to my place shipping with a tiny fee. It's not that crazy. It is a fee, but it's not that crazy. And you can edit the invoice there, so it usually works fine. If I buy something really expensive from Bai, I might get it sent to Tenso, but then it's very complicated. Like, what? Bai charges you 1,000 yen to have your item shipped within Japan. Like, that's an extra fee. Oh, you want to ship it in Japan? And then they charge you an extra 1,000 yen. Yeah. It's worth it because you don't have to pay customs if you ship your items from Tenso, but Bai is just really after your money. So like, I really don't like how Bai does that. Like, they are great, and plus recently I had issues with their packaging too, so I'm like, I don't hate on Bai yet, but I don't want them to mess up because I don't want to be angry at them because I used them for the longest. But if I want to, I can go for the Japan. So yeah, I think that was all. So for Japanese releases, CD Japan through Tenso usually, and random Japanese auctions either Bai or the Japan. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. This may be a long video, but I talked about all the stores that I use normally. I think that is really all. There are probably other stores that I don't use, but like, I don't need them because I can find everything like this. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!